Why, hello, boys and girls. Happy Halloween. This is your old pal, Chris the Entertainer here. And today, I'm going to be reading you kids my two favorite Charlie Brown Halloween books. We're going to start with The Legend of the Great Pumpkin. And next, we're going to be reading You Gotta Rock, Charlie Brown. So in the meantime, let's get started. Here we go. First, we're going to read The Legend of the Great Pumpkin. Are you ready? Great! Let's do it! Here we go. It was almost Halloween. Lucy figured her brother Linus would do what he did every Halloween. I guess you'll sit in the pumpkin patch and wait for the Great Pumpkin? Lucy asked. Every year, Linus waited. Every year, he shared the legend of the Great Pumpkin with his friends, but no one believed him. One year, Marcy joined him in the pumpkin patch. Linus explained that the Great Pumpkin rises out of the pumpkin patch he thinks is the most sincere. Marcy nodded, but then she said, I want to see the great grape when he arrives. Pumpkin, Linus corrected her. Marcy went home early. The next morning she asked Linus, Did the great squash ever showed up? Pumpkin, Linus shouted. He said squash. Funny Marcy. The next year, Charlie Brown went with Linus. The Great Pumpkin will rise out of the pumpkin patch and fly through the air, bringing toys to the good children of the world, Linus told him. But Charlie Brown had a question. There must be 1,000,000 pumpkin patches in the world. What makes you think we're in the right one? It's just a feeling I have, Linus answered. A little while later, Linus pointed up ahead. There he is! It's the Great Pumpkin rising out of the pumpkin patch. But before Charlie Brown could explain that it was just Snoopy, Linus passed out from excitement. Oh, clunk. Poor Linus. He fainted. Another time, Sally joined Linus. When the Great Pumpkin flies over, we'll be the first ones to see him, Linus said. Sally smiled. This is exciting, Sweet Baboo. Don't call me Sweet Baboo, Linus told her. This is very serious. Okay, Pumpkin, Sally replied. Linus groaned. I can't stand it. Later that night, Linus heard a strange sound. Listen. Did you hear that? He asked Sally. Is it the Great Pumpkin? She had to admit she heard something too. But, to Linus's dismay, it was just Snoopy driving by on a Zamboni. Yeah, it was Snoopy on the Zamboni. I bet you would find it in ice skating rinks. Pretty cool. Linus wanted to thank Snoopy for never saying anything bad about the Great Pumpkin. I am going to let you sit in the pumpkin patch with me this year, Linus told Snoopy. Snoopy kept silent. He had a bad feeling about this. I really appreciate your sitting out here with me, Linus said, after telling Snoopy about the Great Pumpkin for the 100th time. Although I must admit, I've been wondering why you're wearing those dark glasses. Snoopy didn't say anything, but he was thinking, there are certain times when you prefer not to be recognized. I guess he's so cool. One year, Linus decided to go alone. It wasn't long before he saw something. Linus couldn't wait to tell everyone what he had seen. I saw the great pumpkin, Charlie Brown. He was sitting with his arms in the air like this. He was waving his arms at me. Just then, Lucy ran up to them. "There's a cactus in the pumpkin patch," she said. "You must have seen it, Linus. It's really tall with arms like this." That time, Linus was the one who didn't say anything. Funny, guys. This cactus is in the pumpkin patch. Pretty funny. After all the disappointments, Linus wasn't sure he was up for his usual Halloween tradition. "Maybe it's time to forget the whole thing about the great pumpkin," Lucy suggested. Linus realized he couldn't give up. The great pumpkin was counting on him. He began to write a letter. "This is ridiculous," said Lucy. But she began reading over his shoulder anyway. "Dear Great Pumpkin, we are all looking forward to your arrival. Soon you will rise out of the pumpkin patch and fly through the air. You will bring presents to all the good little boys and girls in the world. I have tried to be good all year long, and I hope that you will bring me lots of presents." When Lucy got to the part about presents, she had a change of heart. Did you put in a good word for me? I've tried to be good too." If Lucy was starting to believe, anything was possible. Linus mailed the letter and went straight to the pumpkin patch. After all, it wasn't Halloween without the legend of the great pumpkin. The end. Good story, everyone. It was good. Pretty cool book to read. Alright. And now we're going to read You Gotta Rock, Charlie Brown, from the Ready to Read series Level 2. Here we go, everyone. Let's read. You Gotta Rock, Charlie Brown by Charles M. Schulz. The leaves are changing colors and falling from the trees. There's a chill in the air. There are pumpkins all around. It's Halloween. Charlie Brown loves Halloween. Tonight, Charlie Brown is going trick-or-treating. First, he needs to figure out what to wear. Charlie Brown decides to dress up as a ghost. It should be an easy costume to make. All he needs to do is cut 2 eye holes out of the sheet. Charlie Brown meets up with his friends. "Really, Charlie Brown? What are you supposed to be?" asks Lucy. "A ghost," Charlie Brown replies. "I guess I had a little trouble with the scissors." Poor Charlie. Lucy is dressed up as a witch. A person should always pick a costume which is in direct contrast to one's own personality, she says. Someone else dressed up as a ghost joins the group. "Hi, Pigpen," says Frida. "How'd you know it was me?" Pigpen asked. "Even a sheet can't cover the cloud of dirt that always surrounds Pigpen." Pigpen is always dirty, isn't he? Snoopy is also in the Halloween spirit. He wears a red scarf, goggles, and a green cap. "It's the World War I flying ace," explains Charlie Brown. "Now I've heard everything," says Lucy. Time for trick-or-treating. The group of friends walks to the first house. Lucy rings the doorbell. "Trick-or-treat," everyone shouts when the door opens. Everyone gets a little something in his or her bag. On the way to the next house, everyone compares their treats. I got 5 pieces of candy, says Lucy. I got a chocolate bar, says Violet. I got a quarter, says Pigpen. Charlie Brown looks in his bag. He cannot believe his eyes. I got a rock, he moans. Aw, poor Charlie. He's sad. The group goes to the next house. Trick or treat, everyone shouts when the door opens. Once again, everyone gets a little something in his or her bag. I got a candy bar, says Lucy. I got 3 cookies, says Violet. I got a pack of gum, says Pigpen. What did Charlie Brown get? Let's find out. Charlie Brown looks in his bag. I got a rock, says Charlie Brown. Not again. Oh my god, that Charlie. So funny. Charlie Brown hopes things will be different at the next house. Trick or treat, everyone shouts when the door opens. I got a popcorn ball, says Lucy. I got a fudge bar, says Violet. Charlie Brown looks in his bag. This time, he is not surprised. I got a rock, he tells everyone. Yep, Charlie Brown got another rock. Poor kid. After trick-or-treating, Charlie Brown and his bag of rocks goes to Violet's Halloween party. Lucy asks if Charlie Brown wants to be a model. Charlie Brown is honored, but not for long. Lucy only wants to draw a face on the back of his head. Thank you, Charlie Brown, says Lucy. You made an excellent model. Aw, poor Charlie. At least he looks the same jack-o'-lantern twins. Pretty cool. The next day, Charlie Brown tells Linus all about the night before. Another Halloween has come and gone, and all I got was a bag full of rocks, he says. At least there's always next year. The end. Alright, good story everyone. I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. And I hope you have a great happy Halloween too. Thanks for watching guys. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. Happy Halloween.